That's my breath. And there is coffee getting heated up. And there is the ice that kind of came out of my water filter this morning. So it is some kind of cold. I'm sitting in my tent having coffee. James is under his tarp having coffee. And we'll be heading out of here closer to 8. I just poured the contents out of my Gatorade bottle, which was water that I filtered from yesterday. You can see it floating around in there. But look at the bottle. The water came out, but it was trying to freeze solid. It hadn't quite got there by 6 a.m. So, good morning, everybody. Birdman and Steps here, leaving our home for the evening. And let me tell you, it was some kind of cold. Let me change this view. Okay, so you saw all the snow that came down on Clemens and that whole mountain yesterday. We descended over 1,000 feet of elevation to get to this campground, but we're still just under 6,000 feet of elevation here. And already the forecast down in the cities below us, you know, night before last was in the 20s, and last night was supposed to be low 20s or upper teens, and that's down in the cities, not at 6,000 feet. So we were absolutely in the teens last night. We have no signal, so we don't know exactly how cold it got, but for sure we're both guessing probably mid to low teens. It is so cold. You know, all our bottles of water, you keep them inside your tent and your water filter so they don't freeze solid. So all that freezing occurred inside the tent. And so our water still is like ice. Not totally solid, but it wasn't very many hours from being totally solid. So anyway, we've got 5 miles to get to Newfound Gap, which is a special place. So we are excited. This is one of those places where Dana, you and I came a couple times. Mom and Dad, we've been plenty. So once again, memories of days gone by, good days. They were more warm and sunny than today will be. Strike that. It'll be sunny. That's the good news about today, but it's gonna stay cold. So we should be in pretty bundled up most of the day, but the sun will be out. But unfortunately, that fierce wind stayed with us all night. And let me tell you, it was very interesting. You're laying there and you would hear it like a freight train coming. Just a huge unit. I can't describe it better than a huge unit of wind coming from your right. And it would just barrel right through where you are and keep going to the left and up and on up the hill. You could just literally hear them coming, pass over, and continue up the hill. It was amazing. But slept pretty good. But the ground was all frozen around us. So my mattress has a R value, but my equipment is 3-season gear. It's not winter. So last 2 nights, I've gone to bed warm, but in the middle of the night, the cold starts to penetrate, not only through the sleeping bag, which is just a 20-degree bag, but also from underneath. It starts getting through that mattress. So you start kind of getting infiltrated by the cold. So early AM, you start to feel it. By the time it's time to get up, you're really feeling it. So 3-season gear will work if you're leaving in March, but if you know your body better than anybody, you AT through hikers for the future. If you don't like the cold and it bites at you extra hard, make sure you get lower degree bags for March, and maybe even later than that, maybe 10 degrees or 0 degrees, if you want to be more comfortable when you're out in the really cold weather. All right, that'll do it. Here we go. Go ahead. back to the tent real quick in the cold. It's just a single wall tent, maybe waterproof carbon fiber from Z-Packs. All these tents aren't meant to keep you really that warm, just to keep you dry. So they ventilate real well. So when it's cold inside too. Many people sleep actually in their bags with their water bottles and their filters and stuff. I don't go that far yet. I just like to insulate them and put them in my backpack. Look at this woods, y'all. It's beautiful. It's cold, but it sure is nice to be in this different forest. You know, we've been 2.5 weeks till we got a major change in the forest, and it's so nice to know we're in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We're halfway through it on the AT, today's Newfound Gap, and then we have to another half mile off the AT for our shelter like we did last night. So it's always better when the shelter's closer, but no worries. Feet don't fail me now, right? Look at this. I just can't wait to see a deer jump the trail. Or at least a white flag, to know that there are actually still deer in the world. On my training hikes, I see deer every time. Ice. All right, I'm gonna get off this thing, get my hand covered. It's cold. So we just broke out at the parking lot for Klingman's Dome to the Newfound Gap 1.7. 1.7 is where we're heading. All right, so back in the woods. I want to just mention a word to you future Appalachian Trail hikers, and also to your circles and spheres of influence back home that will never go, but they'll kind of vicariously live through you. Family usually have the right motives and intents. They love you, but you don't always get full support. One thing I will say is, so far on this journey, I've found that there's 4 levels of support. 2 that are actually supportive and 2 that actually wear you down a little bit. And that is, some people, family, friends, coworkers, will totally encourage you. I mean, from the very beginning, they're from the depths of their heart, or at least once they understand you a little bit on why you're doing this, they turn a corner and it's genuine. They're your cheerleaders. They truly want you to succeed. They're thankful that you have an opportunity to do it, and they back you up. And that is authentic encouragement. And let me tell you something, there's power in that for the thru hiker. And then the second level is, I think I would tag as synthetic encouragement. It's not necessarily against you, but it wavers. It seems sometimes to be for you and behind you and true encouragement, and then other times it feels like it's just plastic. It's not real, and might even cross over into the what are you thinking mode. But still, even synthetic encouragement, even the encouragement that doesn't seem quite fully real, is still welcomed, still a positive thing. Then you've got those in your family and others who communicate loud and clear by their silent dissent. They don't ever weigh in. You don't ever hear a word from them, which means they're basically saying you're foolish, you're irresponsible, you're selfish, self-centered, maybe even stupid for doing something like this. Silent dissent is discouragement. It will work on you, and it's received loud and clear. And then finally, there's those who just flat out give you the words of discouragement. Tell you that you're foolish, that you're stupid, that you're irresponsible, that you're self-centered. And that just hurts, of course, outright from the moment you hear it. But a thru hiker has hours and hours and hours on the trail of solitude. We get to think about all of you at home, one by one, over and over, and the encouraging words and the encouraging things continue to inspire. And let me talk to this hiker and then I'll get right back to you. All right, so that was John. He's doing just a 4-day section through here. Can't remember what trail, but there's plenty of trails in the Smokies. Oh man, you can come out for a few days, a week long, plan it out, have fun. But anyway, he's hopefully one day will make the AT. But back to what I was saying. I'm not even sure where I was. You got encouragers, you got synthetic encouragers that are kind of encouraging. You got the silent dissenters, who you never really hear anything about, which is a form of discouragement. And then you've got the straight up discouragers. That's my 4 that I'm pretty much classing everybody I've left behind in. And like I said, you got hours on the trail. You've got hours setting up camp and breaking down camp. You've got hours laying in your tent or in your hammock. You think about these things. And you've got to be really careful. Those that fall into category 3 and 4 especially, but even some that are on the fringe of category 2, you got to be really careful not to get bitter, have any resentment, or even fall into any light depression. That the ones, you know, that you love may not all be supportive. Because like I said before, it's not really coming from a place of dislike of you. They love you. They just don't understand what's inside your heart and why you're going. So you thru hikers are going to think these things. Get ready. So those of you at home, think about your hiker and what you want them to be thinking about on the trail. If you're on the trail and you've got some of those 3rd and 4th category people, maybe even some of the 2nd category that kind of bring you down, remember why you're here. Remember, pull great encouragement from the trail itself. Look at what you can see. We're just walking, seeing all kind of stuff. Pull from the trail. Pull from the dream you had. Pull from the documentary you watched that got you to the AT. Pull from just that place that's wild at heart, that challenges you to do something difficult, almost impossible. Pull from that. And those of you of faith, pull from the Lord Jesus. That's who you put your trust and your faith in. If you're truly a saved individual and you believe that, He's with you every day. And that will help you from falling into any of those pitfalls of the negative thinking, because it will come. Don't stay there. Fight on, hike on, and be thankful. So right here on the trail, James Steps has informed me this is a hog fence. We step over it, but the fence goes down. You might be able to see there, and goes back up here, and they want to keep hogs and wildlife that destroy areas out. And then we've got that view over there. We're still working our way up to Newfound Gap. Be there shortly. We can hear vehicles at Newfound Gap, so we're almost there. I want to put this this other topic to bed with one final thought on the 4 categories of the people who are on your sideline, you thru hikers. We met a hiker at the last shelter named Water. Sweet lady, a nurse from Michigan. Her complete family, friends, cohort, everybody are authentic encouragers, except one of her best friends, and then I think one of her in-laws, but I'm not sure. But anyway, those 2. The one that was, I think, an in-law, he was always asking her, are you sure you want to do this? Is this, are you, really? I mean, he questioned it until the day she left. But the day she left, he realized her heart has changed his tune, has become an authentic encourager. And her girlfriend, who thought she'd lost her mind, is now even sending things to her on the trail. and has changed her mind as well and become an authentic encourager. So Water is so blessed, this woman, because her entire sideline, Team Water, they're all encouragers, authentic. Me, on the other hand, I have a mixed bag. I've got authentic encouragers, I've got synthetic encouragers, I've got silent dissenters who are discouragers, and I've got outright spoken discouragers. So that is something that I continue to chew on as the days go on. All right, got some more black ice coming, so we're going to be careful as we descend here into Newfound Gap. Coming up on an area that I walked down. Dana, I think you were with me. I walked down this direction just to look down the trail, and then we walked across Newfound Gap, got on the AT again and walked that direction. No more than a mile total did we hike, but that's part of the inspiration and the seeds that grew into this glorious journey to Katahdin. And I wouldn't change anything. It's been wonderful. It's been very difficult. But days like this, when you come to a point where you've got good memories. I've got lots of my family and lots of memories in Newfound Gap, in this area as a boy, and then as a man. And I'm gonna pull from those memories, that love that I received from all my family. Thank you all for it. Look forward to it again when I get home. But these little tidbits I'm gonna pull from every time I get to one. They haven't let me down so far. They've been special, and I can already feel a little bit emotional now. These rhododendron up here at a higher elevation hadn't even put out buds yet. Remember we saw earlier ones, they were ready to bloom almost within a week or two. All these are closer to 6,000 feet. Those were more in the 3,000 to 4,000. So, but this is it. I've always wondered what it would feel for an AT thru hiker. Me, the AT thru hiker, what it would feel like after all the miles behind me, from Amicalola Falls, the grinding, the cold, the sweat, the stink, the hunger, the thirst, the downright grinding gains and descents. How it would feel with all that in my mind and the history bank, how it would feel to get to this very spot. Oh, it feels good. It feels real good. All right, it's time to eat, go to the bathroom, and hang out. So we're at Newfound Gap. Turns out that fire is actually a fire that was not a controlled burn. Don't know if lightning started it or just somebody with a careless campfire. We could see it from Clingman's Dome. I said it was controlled burn, but that was not accurate. All right, so once again, I came from over there. I just got photos of the mountains and the fire over there by that wall where we've been sitting and eating. Restrooms are down there where that lady's going. There's the monument and all that good stuff that you've all seen. Yeah, and Steps is showing us how many miles we have to go to get this side over here. Wood. Okay, Steps, what we got?
972 to go.
But who's counting? Let's go to Maine.
Let's get there.
So Dana, this is about where we came to, up the hill, probably around this curve and a little bit longer. And then we turned around and went back. So you may recall that. You may recall some of this right here. But I think it's just one more curve we did, which was probably about half a mile, and then return trip. So lots of tourists up here today though. Little day hikes and things. Hello, hello. Great. Absolutely wonderful. Woohoo! All right, turn this off. So everybody, that was Treeline. She is a ridge runner. Thank you, Treeline, so much for what you do for the trail, for other people, just out of the kindness of your heart. Thank you so much. But anyway, she completed her through hike of the Appalachian Trail with her father, a trail named Grits, who had always wanted to do it. She took a semester off of college and went. How cool. And she had never done a backpacking anything until day one when they started on the AT. How cool was that? And now, because of how meaningful long distance backpacking is to her and her father and family, she has this job. How cool. So how cold does it have to be to freeze a waterfall? Normally I'm showing you pictures of flowing water. There is some flowing right there in the middle. So it's not like it's all frozen, because it's going to keep coming from the source, but all the way up. And as it crosses the trail, all the way down. Look at that. I'd say we had a cold night or two. In the teens, yeah, that'll do it. Who knows, it might approach single digits up at 6,000 and above. So anyway, we got 2 more cold nights to endure before we get off the trail, and James has some friends, can't wait to meet them, who are going to pick us up and provide us a place, hopefully to get a hot shower and some good grub and do a little bit of running around in town we need to do. But I'll tell you, it's cold, sure enough, but it's so pleasant and so many nice people out here on the trail. This is the most touristy day, if you will, of our trip, just simply because Newfound Gap is open and Kleeman's Dome is closed. So more people are trying to get out and get good views and different things like that in this area here toward the end of March. So anyway, I've seen a lot of people just day hiking primarily. And then there's us through hikers that just mingle through the middle of them. Had some good trail magic, as you saw. The Kentucky crew was once again there at Newfound Gap. And that was a treacherous little ice flow right there I'm going around. Still a lot of black ice, gotta be careful. But good people surrounding us. So this is Charles Bunyan's point. Fixing to be at, I gotta stop first and show you. Look at this. Side view of Bunyan. The rock formations are amazing. This is a sheer drop off of these rocks. You get up there and it's a windy day, you better not be standing up. Gorgeous. from bunions on the edge of creation, exposed where you fall to neverland, to back into forests of rhododendron, evergreen, more protected. And then you bust out on a ridge and that fierce wind comes back. It's been quite an up and down, ebb and flow kind of day with different things to see, different views. And it's been very interesting. We just continue to go around the canyon as seen from the Charles Bunyan. But now we're on like a knife's edge ridge. I mean, it literally drops off both sides. Not sheer. I think you'd survive it. You'd be caught by a lot of these branches, but my goodness, y'all. It's like single trail width right here. Let's see what's to my left. That was beautiful, y'all.
When I saw him, I thought,
James, that was gorgeous. Peregrine falcon.
I knew you wouldn't shoot stuff down there.
Oh man,
But I'm like,
how nice! How nice was that?
I'm like, oh man, come here.
Beautiful. This whole area and that bird, beautiful.
It's good. Can't get any better than that.
I hear you. This shot, there's not a human anything in sight. There's no town, no cars, no planes, no trains, just wilderness. And we're almost to camp and we're gonna be sleeping in this wilderness tonight. Just seeing that peregrine falcon was gorgeous. Now just look at this. So there is the privy at this shelter. And here is the sign. We are at Peck's shelter. Heading down there now.